Welcome back to Common Sense. I'm Representative Patricia Morgan, and I have with me today Ken Block, who has now turned activist on the line item veto, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
44 states already have line item veto.
That's correct.
What is it?
The line item veto is a tool that the governor uses to go into a multi-thousand page budget and take one individual line item out of that budget. It's a very important tool for a governor to have, and in fact, as you already said, 44 governors across the country have access to some form of this tool.
Have all those states gone in the toilet because of it?
No, in fact, there are academic studies that show that states with the light item veto control their spending better than states that do not.
They do.
So
because they want to justify every line
Right.
in the budget.
So here's
less pork,
that's right.
less giveaways.
So as I know you're aware, but for the viewers at home who may not be aware, the way Rhode Island's budget process works is the governor in January or early February submits an initial budget that then sort of disappears into the machinery of the legislature.
Well, we
And
hold hearings on
but-
it in the Finance Committee, but sometimes what comes out has little relationship to what was submitted.
Of course, and oftentimes things end up in the budget that don't necessarily get vetted out in public.
That's right.
Right?
Sure, like
and
38 Studios.
Exactly. Well, it
wasn't vetted. It just
wasn't-
showed up.
Right. And what you end up with, ultimately, when the legislature passes a final budget, currently, Rhode Island's governor only has the option to approve the budget,
The whole thing.
veto the entire budget, or allow it to pass in a symbolic gesture without a signature, which is a stupid thing to do. I don't know what the point of that is. With the line item veto, not that you would ever do this, but we use you as an example. Let's say you were able to tuck a line item in there.
Let's not use me. Let's use somebody else.
All right.
Tucking somebody in there.
We'll use Representative X.
Okay.
Representative X.
Because this representative would never tuck something questionable in.
So Representative X puts in a light item to build a sheep research center in downtown Providence.
Okay.
Okay? And once that line item gets into that budget,
Impossible to
right
take
now
it
our
out.
governor has no way to get that out.
That's right.
With the light item veto, the governor could go, well, wait a minute. Nobody raises sheep in downtown Providence. This doesn't make any sense. I'm going to strike this line out. Now, when that light item gets struck using a light item veto, the legislature then can possibly override and keep that line item,
Sure.
but they have to have a specific vote where every single legislator
That's right.
has to go on the record and say, I believe sheep processing in Providence is crucially
let's
important.
take it down to more, really, 38 Studios was a line item that was included in the last night of a budget vote, right? What about that Center for International Sports, whatever that was?
That was a grant.
That was a departmental grant, but it was
Yeah.
in the budget,
Yeah.
and that was $500,000, not chump change.
Right.
There are a lot of things that get in there, departmental grants, just spending that
The whole
that
legislative grant
somebody
program.
wants. Well,
Is a line item.
that's right, it is.
Yeah.
There is spending, and all of those are lines.
Yep.
That a governor could say, that's spending that we shouldn't be doing.
Right.
And,
And the
take that
important-
out, not the whole budget.
And here's
just
the important thing. You force a debate,
on why it's good.
you bring transparency,
Mm-hmm.
and you force a vote on it. And if legislators truly believe it's important and they're willing to put their reputations on the line, they have the ability to say, I override the governor, and we believe this has to be in there.
But it makes them focus on that line item and say,
That's right.
38 Studios, okay, is this something that we really think is integral to the prosperity of Rhode Island?
That's right.
They have to have the debate on it.
That's
and
right.
they have to be on record.
So 44 other states have it.
Yep.
Rhode Island's one of 6 who don't.
Yeah, now,
They-
you had said that it can be overridden, and I understand that the Massachusetts governor, so what's his name, Baker,
Yep.
he vetoed $162 million worth of things in his budget, and they did come back and overturned him on $100 million of those.
Correct.
So it still comes back to the legislature if they think they have to have that spending. He was able to cut 62 million though, and that's pretty good.
That's right. And survived the override.
Yeah.
So you know that those programs that were cut
Were really
were
bad.
really bad,
Yeah,
right?
stinkers.
And that's the point. That's the beauty of the light item veto. Look, 44 other states don't have it wrong. 44 other states haven't fallen into anarchy because the governor has this
Sure.
power. And in Rhode Island, and this is my favorite example, and I'm going to use it forever because it's so awful. In Rhode Island Senate, they passed an awful bill to make essentially the act of a tree dropping its leaves
Yes.
be illegal. Okay, they wanted to attach
The
a
pine needle bill.
$500
Senator
criminal
Chacon,
penalty
yeah.
for, and it wasn't pine needles, it was any tree dropping. So it
That's
could have
right.
been acorns, it could have been leaves, whatever.
Leaves,
It was a stupid
weeping willow,
bill.
yeah.
And 26 senators, including the Senate president, voted yes, we think this is a good thing to have. Several other senators would have voted yes, they weren't even there that day. Right?
You know,
So-
people are without jobs and we're worried about that, but
Right. But my point is,
Still a
sheep.
bad job.
They're voting like sheep. They're not paying attention. They're not looking at what they're doing. They're just following the leader and voting yes, hitting that green button yes. With a legislature that works like that, the majority works like that. I know you don't. When the majority works like that, it's dangerous. And the light item veto is a necessary check and a balance against a legislature that's in zombie mode. Our legislature is in zombie mode.
well, that's an individual bill, but I know the budget. There are often things in there that are questionable, and representatives are able to vote them through by saying, well, it was part of the budget,
That's
and we
right.
wouldn't have done school funding if I voted against it, or we wouldn't have done this. And so they're able to hide
Yeah.
from the fact that they're passing through wasteful spending or spending that's for one particular special interest or something. The same with, there are sometimes just laws that are put into the budget because they're, a little bit questionable.
Right.
So it gives them cover, and they never ever have to justify that they gave $500,000 to the Center for Sports, whatever, International Center for Sports or something. They never have to justify their vote for 38 studios because they say, well, it was part of the budget.
Right.
Right? But if a governor can highlight that wasteful spending or that questionable spending and make them go back and revisit it alone,
Right.
it's a powerful thing to
Of
control
course it is,
spending.
because if it's done right and you get the media involved and you really shine the light on what's happening, the truly awful things can be beaten back and removed.
and we
that's the
control
point.
spending.
That's
And
right.
we are not a lightly taxed state.
No.
Right? We just, and even this year, I think the budget is projected to go up another 5%, in addition to the $45 million toll tax that we just passed, in addition to about $250 million worth of bonding that they want to put on. That's a lot of money coming from taxpayers.
Yeah.
We have to give the governor tools to cut out some of it.
No doubt.
Yeah. So, what do you think, what should people do?
Well, it's always difficult to get people at home to do things, but we tried to make this really easy. If you go to the website www.lineitemveto.org, you take about 60 seconds, you put your email address in, you put your mailing address in, you hit enter, and you'll send an email to the governor, to the Senate president, and the speaker, pushing them to bring a light item veto to Rhode Island.
Okay, so you got your marching orders. Let's do it. We'll be back in just a moment.